Specifically with Keenan Pili, one of those outstanding linebackers at BYU, who is with us in studio. Keenan, welcome to the show on Media
Keenan?
Day.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Hair's looking good, dude. What kind of conditioner are we talking about here?
Not much, honestly. People usually think I get a perm, but it's just water.
That's
It's
natural?
just water. That's all natural?
Just water.
Oh.
Wow.
Listen, the hair poking out of the helmet's a real thing. That matters.
It does.
The look
to me, it does.
matters.
To me, it does. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Has
Is your
to stick
hero
out.
Troy Polamalu?
A little bit, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit.
Trajan never really did that.
Yeah, not really. He
No.
has straight hair.
He has
Trey has
straight hair. Okay.
He wasn't blessed with the locks, the
luscious
curls.
locks.
I got
Yes.
curly hair.
It's beautiful.
Okay, now that we've discussed the hair, on to the BYU defense. We heard from your defensive coordinator. We said, hey, what's the strength of the team? He was very quick to point out it's the linebackers. What about the BYU linebackers makes you so consistently good from year to year?
Well, I'll just give it right back to the coaching. I think they do a good job in prepping us for every game and before the season. We've also obviously always had good leaders in the linebacker crew. Last year, Isaiah Kaufusi, I think he really took us all under his wing, and I think that's led to us being a solid group of linebackers.
Okay, who came up with Frodo? The name for Frodo, the position.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know either. I heard about this depth chart. The Frodo.
Yeah.
I think not too sure really what that is yet, but I'm sure they have a a good position.
Yeah, and then
for it.
Joker for safeties.
Yeah, Joker.
Yeah, we gotta learn who came up with these. We don't know.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Okay, so you're penciled in. Well, this is actually an ink at the Mike linebacker, the starter.
Yeah.
What kind of positive pressure do you feel as the Mike linebacker at BYU? That's a pretty big spot. You're the quarterback of the defense.
It is. It is. With all that pressure, I think just comes with preparation for me and trying to be a leader for the defense. I think trying to take on a bigger role of understanding where everyone should be, where everyone needs to go, and being able to talk and get everyone aligned on the field, I think is a cool responsibility.
Walk us through the logistics of that. So pre-snap, as the middle linebacker, what exactly are you up to in those communications?
Well, pre-snap, I kind of work my way back. I have Pete Wilgar and Max who helped me great. Have them deal with the D-line. I try to get the back four, and we just try to communicate with each other and try to get everyone on the same page.
You mentioned Isaiah Kaufusi and what he meant to the defense last year. He certainly was a leader in every sense of the word. What did you learn from him that's going to help you this year?
I think the biggest thing I learned from Isaiah was just his selflessness to the team. I think he gave everything he had on the field, but not only that, off the field to the people around him, not specifically just to our linebacker group, but to the whole defense. He really took the time to think about how he can help people individually. I think that was a cool thing he did.
What's it like going up against, in practice, Tyler Algier, who was a linebacker in 2019 with you?
Yeah, he was. He was a linebacker. We always joke with him to come back, but he definitely belongs as a running back.
I was going to say,
He's
after last year, there's no way, right?
Yeah. No, it's cool to go up against him. We always try to line up with each other because, you get good reps with him, good reps with Lopini, and those guys, they only going to make you better in practice.
Could you catch Tyler if he broke away from the BYU linebackers? Would you catch him?
That's a good question. I think we should test it out. Test it out.
You'll have plenty of opportunities coming up in fall camp.
Yeah.
Okay, obviously last year was so amazing. You guys were the #4 scoring defense, just incredible. Now you move to this year. What's sustainable from last year as opposed to perhaps something that was an outlier?
Okay. I think something we're taking from last year that I think not much people talk about is that our young guys got a lot of reps last year.
Kalani talked about that.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
Many guys were able to get, valuable reps on a big stage. So I think we're able to take that into this year, which is unique with COVID, that people were sitting out. Our strength of schedule, sometimes our starters were out by halftime. So taking all these guys who took these reps really helps us this year.
Who are some of those guys who took more reps that are going to play a bigger role this year?
Shoot, I think D-line is definitely going to step up. The D-line got a taste. Linebackers as well.
Any names of guys that
specifically
you think are, hey, by the end of the season, you're going to know their name, and we're not talking about them now?
Yeah. Obviously, you saw some guys on D-line like Tyler Batty. I think.
But like has 3 sacks in a game, and we're like, who's this guy?
Yeah, out of
right?
nowhere,
And then he
right?
got hurt, right?
Yeah.
Pepe was great against Navy, kind of got hurt.
Yeah, Pepe is a good one to watch out for, and we definitely got some young guys at backer that are coming up. Ben Bywater.
Oh, you mean the Frodo starter?
He's the Frodo guy.
The Frodo man.
The Frodo, he's going to destroy the ring, baby. Drew Jensen with him as well.
Special role right there.
Ben Bywater is the Frodo man.
I want to know who the Lord of the Rings fan was. I love Lord of the Rings.
I'm a
stoked
Lord of the Rings
about
fan
this.
too.
Yeah, nice, dude. Where's Legolas?
Yeah.
Maybe as a receiver? Who knows?
Keenan Pili with this on BYU Sports Nation. You got into something you had no idea about.
Where's Gimli and Gandalf, you know?
You shall not pass.
Yeah, that could be a
Good
quarterback.
defensive thing.
Safety,
Okay.
maybe.
Okay, Keenan, I do want to ask you about the Pili family name. It obviously is very associated with BYU football.
Your sister worked here, too. We love the Pilis. Yeah,
Yes.
she was great.
There have been several. So where do you fit into the hierarchy of great Pilis at BYU?
Brother-in-laws included, Moroni Pututo.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just want to be in the footsteps. I feel like I have so many people, good people to look up to. So just to be in their footsteps, to take what they've given me and try to do something better with it, that's where I like to be.
Oh, outstanding answer.
How's the approach with certainly a different kind of schedule? Last year you just had to play that schedule, right? You did what you did, and you guys were amazing. Now you play 7 Power 5s. You're opening up in an NFL stadium, which is going to be awesome. Packed house, it'll be great. What's the approach? Is there a different approach to playing a tougher schedule in terms of your preparation?
I'd say the only change is actually knowing who we're going to play.
It's nice a few months before,
That
right?
helps.
You're like, sorry, who?
Yeah, knowing that we're going to play at all, it would be nice. I think those two things especially will help because we're able to watch film like throughout all this off season. We're going through film on all the teams we're going to play this year. I think that helps in the long run. So I say that's the only thing that's changed from last year.
Do you have your eye on the home opener at all?
I do. Hey, it's my hometown, Las Vegas, so I'm excited to go home and play a good team like Arizona.
Sure.
And then the next week, somebody comes to town as well.
Yes.
Yes, they do. That'll be special, right? Home opener, packed LaVell Edwards Stadium on 9/11. That'll be pretty special.
Oh,
That'll be
okay.
pretty special. Yeah.
That will be special. That's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
All right, let's finish with this. How have you improved the most as a football player over the last 6 months? Because we don't hear a lot between the months of December and June.
Yeah. Obviously, the physical aspect is important, but even more than that, trying to take that step mentally, understanding concepts, when things aren't going to happen, and trying to really take a bigger role in the film world, I'd say is the next step.
I was just waiting for you to include the hair, too. I really thought over the last 6 months, my hair has made drastic improvements.
Who has the most swag on the defense? The guy that you
Most
walk out
swag?
there and you're like, dude, he looks incredible and has got it.
I mean, I'm not bad myself, I'll be honest. I'll give that to the whole cornerback room. You know,
Okay.
all those guys kind of
Love it.
swag out every Saturday. So
D'Angelo Mandel, Keenan Ellis, Isaiah Heron,
Isaiah
Shimon
Heron
Willis.
definitely does a lot.
Right? He's great. I'm looking forward to Jacques Wilson as well. He got hurt. He got hurt.
Yeah.
He's going to be a baller too, so that's going to be fun.
All right, Keenan, thanks for hanging out on Media Day, man.
Thank you for having me.
I don't think we've really chatted with you much, so this was great.
No, yeah. This was
Great.
a good time.
Oh, you get
Thanks for
named the
having me.
starter, now we bring you in. You know, that's how it works.
We're fickle like that.
Yeah. Good to see you, man.